You ever watch someone talk about investing and just know they're doing it completely backwards? Like they're out here debating crypto, arguing about Tesla stock, chasing the next big ETF. Meanwhile, they've got a credit card quietly charging them 22% interest every single month. That's not investing. That's financial self-sabotage with extra steps. It's like trying to fill a bucket with water while there's a massive hole in the bottom, and instead of fixing the hole, you just keep pouring more water in, and then you sit there confused, like, why am I not getting ahead? Yeah, of course you're not. How people build wealth, and more importantly, why most people never do. And I'll be honest with you, it's not because they're broke, it's because they're out of order. They're doing the right things in the wrong sequence, and that one mistake, it quietly costs them tens, sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars over their lifetime. No joke. So if you actually care about building real wealth, not just looking like you're into investing, this video is going to change the way you think about money. Because today, I'm not going to give you stock picks. I'm not going to hype up crypto. I'm going to give you something way more valuable, the exact order your money should follow, step by step. And if you follow this, you don't need luck. You don't need perfect timing. You just need discipline. Let me hit you with something real quick. Right now, about 1 in 3 Americans has zero emergency savings. Zero. Not $5,000. Not $1,000. Not even $500. Actually, scratch that. The median emergency fund is about $500. That's not even one decent car repair. That's not even one unexpected hospital bill. That's barely one bad weekend. But those same people, they're asking questions like, should I invest in individual stocks? Is crypto about to explode? Which ETF should I buy? No, wrong question. That's like asking, should I buy a Ferrari or a Lamborghini? While your current car doesn't even start. You don't need better investments. You need a better system. Step 1. Your foundation. Emergency money. Before you invest a single dollar, you need a buffer between you and life, because life will hit you. Your car will break. Something will go wrong with your health. You might lose your job. That's not pessimism. That's reality. And when that happens, if you don't have cash, you're forced into bad decisions. You sell investments at the worst time. You go into debt. You panic. That's how people stay stuck. An emergency fund isn't just money, it's control. It's the difference between reacting emotionally and responding intelligently. Now everyone says, save 3 to 6 months of expenses. Cool, but for most people that sounds overwhelming, so let's make it real. Your first goal, $1,000. Fast. Sell stuff. Cut spending. Do whatever it takes, because that first $1,000 changes your mindset. After that, build to 1 month of expenses, then 3, then eventually 6 if your situation is unstable. And here's something people don't realize. There was a study that showed people with just $2,000 saved had significantly higher financial confidence than those with nothing. Not because $2,000 is life-changing, but because it removes fear. And fear is what makes people do stupid things with money. Step 2. The silent wealth killer. High-interest debt. Now this is where most people completely lose the plot. They start investing while carrying credit card debt. That makes 0 sense. If your credit card is charging you 20 to 25% interest, that's your investment return going in reverse. You're not earning money. You're bleeding it. Let me make this simple. If I told you, hey, I can give you a guaranteed 22% return right now, you'd throw everything you have at it, right? That's exactly what paying off debt is. Guaranteed return. No risk. No volatility. No market crash. Just progress. Let's say you've got $5,000 in credit card debt at 22%. If you ignore it, you'll pay thousands in interest. If you kill it, you just saved yourself that money instantly. That's real wealth building, not guessing which stock goes up next week. Now there are 2 ways to attack debt. 1. Avalanche method, smart way. Pay off the highest interest rate first. 2. Snowball method, motivation way. Pay off smallest balance first for quick wins. Mathematically, avalanche wins. Psychologically, snowball can work better for some people, but either way, you need to be aggressive because every month you wait, that debt grows faster than your investments ever will. Step 3. The one exception, free money most people ignore. Now here's where it gets interesting. There's one situation where you should invest, even if you still have debt. And it's so powerful, it jumps ahead of everything else. Employer match. If your job offers a 401k match, you take it. No debate, no hesitation. Because this is not investing. This is free money. Let me explain. If your employer says, we'll match 100% of your contributions up to 5%, that means you put in $5,000 they give you $5,000 instantly. That's a 100% return. Show me another investment that does that. You can't. Even if you've got debt at 22%, a 100% return still wins every time. So the move is simple. Contribute just enough to get the full match, then go right back to killing your debt. That's how you optimize both sides. And yet, so many people ignore this. They leave thousands of dollars on the table every year because they don't understand investing. You don't need to understand anything. If someone offers you free money, you take it. Why most people stay broke without realizing it. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Most people don't fail because they're lazy. They fail because they chase excitement. Investing is supposed to be boring, but people want fast gains, hot stocks, quick wins, so they skip the foundation. They ignore the basics, and they end up building their financial life on top of chaos. That's why someone making $50,000 can build wealth, while someone making $100,000 stays stuck. It's not income, it's order, and we're just getting started. Because everything we've talked about so far, this is just the foundation. The real advantage, the part where you start pulling ahead of almost everyone else, comes next. This is where taxes, strategy, and smart positioning start working in your favor. And most people, they completely mess this part up. So let's assume you did what almost nobody does. You built your emergency fund. You killed your high-interest debt. You grabbed your employer match. At this point, you're already ahead of a huge percentage of people. But now, we enter a completely different level of the game. This is where wealth isn't just built, it's optimized. And the difference here, it's not effort, it's strategy. Step 4. Stop paying more tax than you have to. Here's something most people don't think about. You don't just build wealth by earning more, you build it by keeping more. And taxes? They quietly eat a huge chunk of your future if you ignore them. This is where your next move comes in, the IRA. Not because it sounds fancy, not because financial advisors say so, but because it gives you something powerful, control, your 401k, limited options, sometimes high fees. You're stuck picking from whatever your employer gives you, but in IRA, you choose everything. Low-cost index funds, ETFs, simple, clean investments that don't slowly drain your money. And those fees, they matter more than people think. A 1 to 2% fee difference over 30 years can cost you tens of thousands of dollars. Not because you made bad investments, but because your money was quietly being siphoned off the entire time. For 2025, you can invest up to $7,000 per year in an IRA, or $8,000 if you're over 50. And if you're serious about wealth, you don't skip this step. The decision that confuses everyone, Roth versus traditional. Now here's where people freeze, because they hear this question and suddenly feel like they need a finance degree. Should you choose Roth or traditional? Let me simplify it for you. This is the entire question. Do you want to pay taxes now or later? That's it. Traditional tax break today, pay taxes later. Roth, pay taxes today, never pay again on that money. Sounds simple, but the impact, massive. Here's the general rule that works for most people. If you're early in your career, making less money, in a lower tax bracket, Roth is usually the better move. Why? Because you're paying taxes at your lowest rate. And later, when you're making more, that money comes out completely tax-free. If you're already earning a lot, in a high tax bracket, traditional can make more sense, because now you're reducing your tax bill when it actually hurts. But here's the honest answer most people won't tell you. You don't need to be perfect here if you're unsure. Split between both, because having tax flexibility later is powerful. And most people, they don't even get to this step. So if you're here, you're already playing a smarter game. Step 5, the most underrated account in America. Now this is where things get interesting, because almost nobody talks about this enough. And yet, it might be the most powerful account you can use, the HSA, Health Savings Account. Most people think it's just for medical bills. That's the mistake. It's not just a savings account. It's a triple tax weapon. Let me break that down. You get a tax deduction when you contribute. Your money grows tax-free. You withdraw it tax-free for medical expenses. That's 3 layers of advantage. No other account does that. And here's the strategy that separates average from smart. Don't touch it. Let it grow. Pay your medical expenses out of pocket if you can. Save the receipts, because there's no time limit on reimbursement. You could pay a $500 bill today and reimburse yourself 20 years later, completely tax-free. Meanwhile, that money has been invested and growing the entire time. Let me show you how crazy this gets. If you max out your HSA every year and earn around 7% over 30 years, you could end up with $400,000 plus tax-free. Now think about this. The average couple in retirement spends $300,000 plus on health care. That means this one account alone can cover one of the biggest financial risks in your life, and most people completely ignore it. Step 6. Now you max your 401k for real this time. Now we go back to your 401k, but this time not just for the match. Now we're maximizing it for 2025. You can contribute up to $23,500 or $31,000 if you're over 50. And at this stage, you're doing something powerful. You're shielding money from taxes while it compounds. And compounding, that's where real wealth comes from. Not quick wins, not lucky trades, time, consistency, structure. Here's something most people never realize. If you fully use your IRA, HSA, and 401k, you could be protecting $30,000 to $40,000 per year from taxes. That's not small. That's elite-level financial behavior, and that's why some people quietly build wealth, while others feel like they're always behind. Step 7. Now, and only now, you invest freely. This is where most people want to start. And ironically, it's the last step. Taxable investing, stocks, ETFs, crypto, whatever you want. But now, you're doing it from a position of strength, not chaos. Because here's the truth about taxable accounts. They're flexible, but they're inefficient. You pay taxes on dividends, capital gains, every trade. It's like trying to run, while someone slowly adds weight to your back. Let me give you a real comparison. If you invest $10,000 a year for 30 years at 7% return in a tax-advantaged account, about $940,000, in a taxable account closer to $700,000, that's a $200,000 plus difference just from taxes. Same effort, same investing, different outcome. But taxable accounts still matter because they give you freedom. You can access the money anytime. No penalties, no restrictions. Want to retire early? This is your bridge. Want to buy a house? This is your flexibility. The final truth, why this actually works. Here's what most people don't understand. Wealth isn't about doing one big thing right. It's about doing small things in the correct order. This system works because your emergency fund protects you. Your debt stops draining you. Your employer match accelerates you. Your tax strategy amplifies you. Your investments compound over time. It's not flashy. It's not exciting, but it works every time. And if you follow this, you don't need to guess. You don't need to gamble. You don't need to chase trends. You just build, slowly, consistently, powerfully. And years from now, while everyone else is still trying to figure out investing, you'll already be there. Not because you were smarter, not because you got lucky, but because you did something rare. You followed the right order.